your friend by your bedside. The latest hits and the greatest memories. Information, news, sport, music and entertainment, requests and dedications. 99.5 FM.
A pleasant good morning from the nation's capital, Monrovia. This is Trokon, Freeman with news, net on OKFM 99.5. Today is Thursday, the 19th day of July 2018. Our top stories this morning. CBL's Governor Designate Nathaniel Petrie says the pressure on the local currency is attributed to several factors, saying $15.2 billion Liberian dollars is in circulation, while introducing licensing for all foreign bureaus operating in the country. National Disaster Management Agency says over 28,000 people and 25 communities have been seriously affected from flooding in Liberia. Sowing Health Center in Central Monrovia to shut down due to huge stockpile of dirt within the center's vicinity. Authorities and residents call for the relocation of garbage center. Moserado's lawmaker Muna Nyambla is back to the country following months of payment terms as a second chance of life or return to Liberia. And away from Liberia, roses and charming have been given to passengers on the first commercial flight between Ethiopia and Eritrea in 20 years. The details of these stories and other developments, including the news bulletin, are our package in today's presentation of the program. We're taking a break and we'll come back. We'll bring you the news bulletin. Thanks for being there. Let's now welcome Augustine Bill KOLLIE in the news bulletin. Augustine, good morning.
Good morning, Trokon. Good morning, everyone. Morning exchanges in the country have termed as unfair decision reached by the Central Bank of Liberia in the regulation of their activities. At a meeting with money exchanges in Monrovia Thursday, the CBO said as part of its economic stimulus initiative, all foreign exchange bureaus in the country would have to obtain license before operations. The money exchanges added that recommendations made by the exchanges were downplayed, with the CBO providing the way forward. Speaking to OKFM News minutes after the meeting, the exchanges said instituting regulations over restriction, among others, were not sufficient to curb the Liberian and United States dollars instability. They said the new regulation should not only be restricted to them, but should also extend to other business people without involved in money exchange. Earlier, Nathaniel Petrie, Executive Governor Designate of the CBO, said the Liberian dollars has met serious pressure since last year. Chairman Petrie stressed that the pressure on the Liberian dollars is attributed to several reasons, and the currency that is currently in circulation is about 15.2 billion Liberian dollars, which is about 90% as of May 2018. At the same time, Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Tue said the government is committed to addressing the welfare of Liberians. Minister Tue also stressed that government will be more robust in the implementation of the regulations of policies aimed at resuscitating the economy. Meanwhile, Police Inspector General Patrick Sudu has said business people, mainly money exchanges, are responsible for the devaluation of the Liberian dollars to the United States dollars. The Police Inspector General said the police would enforce any regulation coming from the CBL and the Economic Management Team. The National Disaster Management Agency says over 28,755 people and 5 communities have been affected from the flood situation in the country. The agency bossed to OK News on Wednesday that Grembasa, Maigibi, and Mansurado are the 3 counties badly hit by the flood disaster. Henry Williams noted that an assessment conducted by the agency has revealed that over 10,000 people are currently displaced because of the 2 days rain that led to flooding. According to Mr. Williams, the National Disaster Management Agency is challenged with logistics to address flooding across Liberia. He added that the agency is worried about the heavy rainfall that is affecting the ordinary people, thereby calling for assistance from international partners to rescue flooding victims in the country. Authorities of the Soniwan Health Center in Central Monrovia have threatened to shut down the facility if huge stockpile of debt within its vicinity is not removed. The officer in charge or ORC of the facility, Madam Aaron Sherman Ifiri, informed OKFM News that the diet was placed near the facility since last week. Madam Chairman Ifiri said efforts aimed at getting the intervention of the Monrovia City Corporation in removing the stockpile of debt proved futile. This station has not independently verified this assertion. According to the ORC, the Soniwan Health Center provides health care to little over 25,000 residents in Monrovia. She said 23 communities, including Camp Johnson Road, Randa Street, Johnson Street, Clay and Lane Streets, are under the facility's catchment area. Some residents who had gone to seek medication there are calling on the government to hurriedly remove the garbage. They said the situation is causing serious health hazard for them. It is said the area where the diet is gathered is being used as a garbage center for mainly marketers at the Ralita market. A reporter who visited the health center said the entire community of Soniwan is being overwhelmed by the diet. A reporter noted that odor oozing from the garbage is causing serious embarrassment for residents and passersby, as most people now refer to the area as hold your nose and pass. The OKFM's reporter who inspected the outpatient department of the area said those who were seated before 8 a.m. were seen murmuring among themselves due to the lack of the attention on the part of health workers. The National Elections Commission has announced the arrival of 1,278,750 ballot papers for the conduct of the by-elections for Bonk and Mansurado counties. A release from the National Elections Commission says the ballot papers arrived in 2 batches from Ghana. The first batch arrived on Sunday, July 15, 2018, while the final consignment arrived on Tuesday, July 17 at the Roberts International Airport in Maigibi County. The release states that of the total of 1,278,750 ballot papers, 997,150 are for Mansurado County, while the remaining 281,600 are for Bonk County. Upon arrival, the ballot papers were taken on a heavy National Police escort to a secure location ahead of distribution to the 2 counties for the July 31, 2018 by-elections. Meanwhile, the tactile ballots, cards which are for use by the visually impaired, and the results forms are scheduled to arrive later this week. The Commission reminds the public that all pre-packed materials of the by-elections have ever since arrived in the country and are secured. Ahead of the July 31 by-elections, the Commission has embarked on a vigorous civic and voters education campaign to afford voters the needed knowledge to vote properly on election day. On Tuesday, July 17, the Commission, through its chairman Jerome Kokoyan, officially launched a colorful civic and voter education campaign in Bonk County with hundreds of voters in attendance. According to the release, the National Elections Commission is expected to shortly launch the civic and voter education campaign in Monrovia. Besides the CVE educators and gender mobilizers that are deployed in the 2 counties for the CVE purposes, as well as the various public service radio programs, the Commission is collaborating with the Liberian Media for Democratic Initiative for a robust civic voter education campaign. Former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is in South Africa at the celebration of the 100th anniversary of former South African President Nelson Mandela. As part of the celebration on Tuesday, July 17, former United States President Barack Obama delivered the 16th Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture. In 2008, the former President Sirleaf delivered the Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture in Johannesburg. The Tuesday, July 18, 2018 lecture was preceded by a panel discussion that featured former President Sirleaf, Kofi Annan, and the former Foreign Affairs Minister of Algeria, Lakhdar Brahimi. The events were also preceded by the launch of the Obama Foundation Leaders Africa program, a year-long initiative, Leaders of Africa, that will connect 200 emerging leaders from across Africa to talk on challenges in their communities. A dispatch says 4 Liberians were selected to form part of the inaugural class of the Obama Foundation Lectures Africa program. The dispatch maintained that on Wednesday, July 18, 2018, former President Sirleaf joined the others and the independent group of global leaders working together for peace and human rights in highlighting the extraordinary contributions made by a group of 100 brilliant grassroots organizations. As part of Wednesday's events, the former Liberian leader again joined a panel discussion with Madam Mary Robinson, former president of Ireland, and Raj Punjabi, co-founder and CEO of Last Meal Health, which is one of the 100 Sparks of Hope. The discussion was centered on world peace, access to health, justice, and equality. President George Weah would on today, Thursday, July 19, 2018, at 4 p.m., dedicate the 2 newly constructed annexes of the Capitol building. According to a release from the Senate Press and Public Affairs Department, the dedication ceremony will be graced by several dignitaries and foreign partners. Chinese ambassador accredited near Monrovia, Fu Jinchong, is expected to hand over the keys of the buildings to Liberia's Foreign Minister, Batsunga Finley, who will subsequently hand the keys over to His Excellency Dr. George Weah, President of the Republic of Liberia, for the official dedication. The construction of the 2 annexes of the capital is one of several projects fully undertaken by the People's Republic of China in Liberia. The erection of the 2 additional wings is mainly due to lack of office spaces for lawmakers and staffers. On July 4, 2016, the Chinese Party, Ministry of Commerce of the Republic of China, and the Ministry of Popular Works of Liberia, on behalf of the Liberian government, signed an implementation agreement of China-aided project of 2 annexes to the capital. A release from the Senate says the 2 annexes were constructed at the cost of approximately US $12.9 million and contained 60 offices, 40 offices for the wing of the House of Representatives and 20 for the Senate. The release further notes that the annexes have 2 separate chambers for the House and the Senate, including a modern joined chamber, other offices for staffers, and a cafeteria, among others. The Capitol building project is amongst several projects that will be dedicated by President Weah during this year's independence celebration. The government of Liberia says it has mopped out over $239 million Liberian dollars in excess liquidity out of the Liberian market. According to an executive mansion release, the exercise, which is in keeping with the president's mandate to defuse $25 million United States dollars in the economy, comes barely 2 days following the president's mandate. The release cited the president's commitment to stabilize the economy through the implementation of stringent regulatory measures and strong monetary policies, both short and long terms, in addressing the current rapid depreciation of the Liberian dollars to the US dollars. It is clear whether the latest move by the government is the cause for the current decline of the exchange rate on the market since Tuesday evening. But economists say the current decline is as a result of speculation and warn the Liberians and policymakers to wait and see how the market reacts to the prevailing situation. Montserrat County District Representative Mona Payam Yombler has termed as a second chance of life her return to Liberia. Representative Yombler has been battling a prolonged illness which resulted to her seeking medication in India. Speaking to journalists upon her arrival at the Roberts International Airport, the Montserrat County District Representative added that God was the savior. She blasted critics and lauded Liberians for always keeping her in prayers. According to the representative, many others flown abroad for treatment fell prey to death, but was glad to return home alive. The chairman of the Union of Money Exchangers based on the old road has termed as embarrassment government failure to set a standard exchange rate. John Pangwe told OKFM News Wednesday that their expectation has been for government to derive a standard rate in addressing the state of the economy. Government, through the central bank Wednesday, initiated a meeting between legal and illegal foreign exchange bureaus in regulating the monetary policy. But Pangwe added that recommendations made by the exchanges were downplayed, with the central bank providing the way forward. According to him, instituting regulations over restriction, among others, were not sufficient to curb the Liberian and United States dollars instability. He added that government measure without resolving the rate situation is only intended to scare the suffering activities who are exchanges. Several marketers at the Nessedor market on 8th Street in Sinker have expressed frustration over the deplorable state of the market. Speaking to a reporter on Wednesday, the marketer said the messy condition at the market facility is posing health risk for them and their kids. Heavy storm is said to have wiped away a portion of the roof of the market facility. It can be recalled Montserrat District 10 lawmaker Yeke Koluba was denied rehabilitating the market facility allegedly by the leadership on grounds that the lawmaker is contesting the Montserrat senatorial by-election. The Liberian National Student Union is calling on the government of Liberia to include the Student Union and the Federation of Liberian Youth on the economic management team. According to the Lenso president, they welcomed the president's decision to tackle the current economic crisis that the country is undergoing. Matthias Jenny also added that the government needs to employ more creative economic strategies in resolving the crisis. He said government also needs to concentrate spending priorities locally than on imports. Yenny also wants about 95% of the $25 million infused in the economy to be directed to the private sector through Liberian-owned businesses. At the same time, the Liberian National Student Union of Liberia is also calling for speedy trial of Vine Jesse, who was released on medical bail few months ago. The union assured the court and the public that Mr. Jesse will not preside as president of Lensu, not represent Lensu at any of its official functions. According to the union, the decision of the National Executive Committee is intended to maintain the image and credibility of the institution both locally and internationally, and as well as assure the alleged victims and our parents of Lensu's commitment to justice. And the Rural and Renewable Energy Agency in Lofa County has disclosed the plans for the electrification of 5 districts in the county. The Rural and Renewable Energy Agency is a local organization currently providing solar panels to various districts in Lofa County with support from the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Making the disclosure Wednesday, the project coordinator Samuel Nangwe said his institution has sourced $27 million towards the project, adding that $25 million of said amount is a grant, while $2 million is a loan agreement. According to Nangwe, the electrification project, which will last for 5 years, is expected to benefit 50,000 inhabitants of Lofa County through the construction of a dam. During a meeting with local authorities in Vonjoban City, the project coordinator of the Rural and Renewable Energy Agency requested the county to provide suitable land space for the erection of a powerhouse that will provide electricity to some districts ahead of the start of the project. Our reporter Johnson Nopela said local authorities of Lofa County have welcomed the development project by the agency and have also agreed to provide suitable land space for initial provision of electricity for the citizens. And those were stories contained in the news bulletin.
Thanks to you, Augustine and Bill KOLLIE, for the news bulletin. A regular feature here on News Network OKFM 99.5. If just joining us, you're listening to News Network OKFM 99.5. The production of the News and Current Affairs Department of OK Communications Incorporated. My name is Trokon Freeman, presenting on Thursday, the 19th day of July 2018. Now, top stories this morning. CBA's Governor Designate Nathaniel Petrie says the pressure on the local currency is attributed to several factors, saying $15.2 billion Liberian dollars is in circulation while introducing licensing for all foreign exchange bureaus operating in the country. National Disaster Management Agency says over 28,000 people and 25 communities have been seriously affected from flooding in recent days. Sunny Wind Health Center in Central Monrovia to shut down due to huge stockpile of dead in the center's vicinity. Authorities and residents call for the relocation of garbage center. Moswara County lawmaker Mona Pena Nyambula is back to the country following months of ailment. Terms as a second chance of life return to the country and away from Liberia. Roses and champagne have been given to passengers on the first commercial flight between Ethiopia and Eritrea in 20 years. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the voices of the news makers. Many thanks for rejoining their program. Morning changes in the country have turned as unfair decision reached by the Central Bank of Liberia in the regulation of their activities. At a meeting with money changes in Monrovia Thursday, the CBA said as part of its economic stimulus initiative, all foreign exchange bureaus in the country will now have to obtain licenses before operations. The money exchangers added that recommendations made by the exchangers were downplayed, with the CBA providing the way forward. Speaking to OKFM News minutes after the meeting, the exchangers said instituting regulations over registration, among others, were not sufficient to curb the Liberian United States dollars instability.
We are willing to work with the government and implement the monetary policies. So we are appealing to the government that the business that we do, there is no way you can sell structure without extension money. The business that we do is US dollar business. So we are appealing to the government in this proper manner that the government should see it necessary that we can be incorporated, because we have been certificated by the government and put need accreditation for the government. We will control our people. There are mechanisms that have been put into place. We have our zone head in the 17th district of the Republic. Our people, they are cooperating. They are very much cooperating with us. And looking at the constraint of the economy, taking people out the street, they cannot stabilize the economy. So we are ready to work now with the government, and the product ourselves something about doing a business without exchanging the money. Now, the opportunity has been given to us to to sell it faster. But some other regulatory people, they will try to use that means to carry on something that will be affected in the process. It happened in the past, and we have documents for that how money was confiscated for us when they told us to go and pay a bureau, and now we come back and the money will be given to us. And we came back to central bank and the money was not given back to us. So how so will this be that we are only selling this fast car with our extension money? And there is no way you can do such a business with our extension money. So we are willing to cooperate with the government of Liberia. We are willing to cooperate with the government of Liberia to carry on the policy, the monetary policy.
A representative of money changers there speaking during a meeting with authorities of the Central Bank of Liberia. Earlier, Nathaniel Patriot, executive governor designate of the CBA, said the Liberian dollars has met serious pressure since last year. Patriot stressed that the pressure on the Liberian dollars is attributed to several reasons, and the currency that is currently in circulation is about 15.2 billion Liberian dollars.
In keeping with the CBA Forex Bureau regulation, there are two categories of licenses already issued. One, category A, and two, category benefits associated with you in category A. One, you will be engaged in foreign exchange transaction. If you don't comply, you will not be engaged in foreign exchange transaction. Two, you will be permitted to open 4 branches or outlet. 3, you will be permitted to do mobile money transaction and money transfer. 4, you'll be able to encash government of Liberia salary checks. 5, you will be permitted to participate in a CBL monthly auction. 6, you will be allowed new and clean banknotes. And 7, you will be allowed to enjoy special product offer. For category B, 1, now the benefits associated with category, you will be engaged in foreign exchange transaction. You will be permitted to open 1 branch or outlet. 1 branch or outlet. Category A, 4 branches. 3, you will be permitted to participate in the CBL monthly auction. Also, required to have a Liberian dollar account and a commercial bank as a prerequisite. 4, you will be allowed new clean banknotes. Licensed Foreign Exchange Bureau. Those that are licensed Foreign Exchange Bureau. 1, in the shortest period of time, all licensed foreign exchange bureaus shall begin to issue the issuing of receipts as prescribed by the Central Bank of Liberia. The Liberian dollar has come under significant pressure beginning last year, and the situation has further deteriorated in recent time. The Central Bank of Liberia continues to intervene in the foreign exchange market through the regular conduct of the foreign exchange auction based on available foreign exchange.
Central Bank of Liberia Governor designate Nathaniel Patriot was speaking. At the same time, Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Toy said the government is committed to addressing the welfare of Liberians. Minister Toy also stressed the government will be more robust in the implementation of regulations of policies aimed at resuscitating the Liberian economy.
Whatever decision the government is making today to address this situation is in your interest. And I was at the Ministry of Agriculture having a meeting with the minister and the team there talking about rice production. We all know the challenge the economy faces. There's a big hole, the US dollar hole in the economy. So let's first understand what the cause of this problem is. We're not putting the blame on anybody in this room. Let me make that one. We are not putting the blame on anybody in this room. So let's get that message clear. Are we clear? Are we clear? Right. The cause of this problem is the fact that our economy is not able to generate foreign exchange.
Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Toeve cooling tension among money changers following harsh remarks by police boss Patrice Suru. Police Inspector General Suru said business people, mainly money changers, are responsible for the devaluation of the Liberian dollars to United States dollars. The Police Inspector General said the LMP would enforce any regulation coming out of the CBL and the Economic Management team. The National Disaster Management Agency says over 28,755 people and 5 communities have been affected from the flood situation in the country. NDMA buzzed to OK News Wednesday that Grand Bassa, Makibi, and Moswara counties are the 3 areas badly hit by the flood disaster. Henry Williams noted that an assessment conducted by the agency has revealed that over 100 people are currently displaced because of the 2 days rain that led to heavy flooding.
We have conducted several assessments concerning the flooding situation, and rightly we did a comprehensive one in Montserrat, and we did some in Margili and in Bambasa, the Trokon, and we did this in collaboration with partners. We have found out that the total affected people up to date is about 28,755. And the total number of affected communities, we have over 25 communities that are affected. But in really dealing with this issue, this briefing is really an SOS. This briefing is an SOS calling on the partner that we need assistance, that we need help. The Liberian government needs help, and we are calling on them to help. We need items such as food, we need water, we need blankets, and we need some nutritional items, some food, even for the children, because just as we speak, display centers are starting to crop up. Like in district number 4, we have 3 display centers now that have been established.
Henry Williams is the head of the National Disaster Management Agency there, saying over 28,000 people and 25 communities have been affected from the flood situation in Monrovia following 2 days of heavy rainfall. Authorities of the Sodium Health Center in Central Monrovia have threatened to shut down the facility if huge stockpile of debt within its vicinity are not removed. The officer in charge of ORC of the facility, Madam Aaron Sherman Ifiri, informed OKFM News that the debt was placed near the facility since last week. Madam Sherman Ifiri said efforts aimed at getting the intervention of the Monrovia City Corporation in removing the debt-proof futile.
If the government not come to my...
We know that the Peloton, water, Bible people, we have voted for us. So we must come to appreciate you people.
Sorry.
Come of people say, oh, when
Sorry for the wrong SFV. Let's now bring you the voice of Madam Aaron Sherman Afiri via speaking to journalists yesterday.
If the government not come to my...
Well, sorry for the technical glitch there. Well, some residents who had gone to seek medication via calling on the government to hurriedly remove the garbage. Some of the patients spoke to reporters yesterday.
My name is Mabolonje Belezi.
We have some technical problem there with the voices. We're sorry for that. The National Elections Commission has announced the arrival of 1,278,750 ballot papers for the conduct of the by-elections for Bank and Moswara counties. A release from the National Elections Commission says the ballot papers arrived in 2 batches from Ghana. The first batch arrived on Sunday, July 15, 2018, while the final consignment arrived on Tuesday, July 17. Moswara County District 9 Representative Monan Pen Nyamblo has termed as a second chance of life a return to Liberia. Representative Nyamblo has been battling a prolonged illness which resulted to her seeking medical attention in India. Speaking to journalists upon her arrival at the Rabbos International Airport, the Moswara County District 9 lawmaker added that God was the savior.
Glory. Firstly, every praise goes to God Almighty. Almighty. I am happy to be back home. I am so glad that God has given me a second chance. What the enemy wanted to hear, what they wanted to see, what they wanted to do, God is the one that has the final say. And so I just glorify God, I worship Him, I tell Him thank you, I magnify His holy name, and I praise Him because He remains my creator, He remains my protector, He remains my savior, He remains my leader. I bless God for everything. I just want to tell God thank you. He's the one, He's the reason why I'm standing here today. Others went. They did not come back as a passenger. They came back as a cargo. I'm not better than them. But God has done it for me. God has blessed me. God has healed me. And I'm happy to be back to see my people. I said thank you to the people of District Number 9, the women of Electoral District Number 9, for praying for me, for fasting for me. I bless God. May God alone be praised. Today is not a day of politics. Today is the day to worship God and appreciate Him.
She's Mosford County lawmaker Mona Pena Nyamblo speaking to journalists minutes upon her arrival to the country. Let's get some comments coming in on the program this morning on our OKFM Liberia page. Good morning, OKFM. Let me use this platform to officially welcome the Honorable Lawmaker of District Number 9, Mosford County, back to service after a prolonged period of illness. May God protect you in your services to Liberia. As it relates to other issues, policies and strategies, formulation are not problems in Liberia. The major problems are implementing and monitoring the policies and strategies. Foreign exchanges using licenses cannot help the process. Those marketers and importers are the major causes of our increasing the rate of exchange, therefore leading to the increase in the process of goods and services. Trust me, OKFM, the motherland, will never fall. What a Sam Flourish writes. Good morning, OKFM. Let me take this time to welcome one of Liberia's fearless female lawmaker, Honorable Mona Pena Nyamblo. I also want to take this time to commend the economic management team for their robust action taken thus far. Let's welcome the representative Mona Pena Nyamblo in the country after successful recovery from illness. The CBA needs to be very robust in implementing its mandate. They don't have to always wait on the president to remind them of their statutory mandate. The new measures put in place by the CBA will help to stabilize our economy. Ambassador Eric Palo Collins. Good morning, OKFM. Right from Jamaica Road, yes, appreciation to the Almighty God for recovery of Honorable Mona Pena Nyamblo. I want to say welcome back, Honorable Nyamblo. Good. Brian Deed of Maryland County Librarian journalists as well. Welcome, Madam Pena Nyamblo, and wish you well as you resume duty soon. I also want to call on government to speedily intervene and save the life of our mothers, sisters, and relatives who are affected by the flood. Long live Liberia, long live OKFM, and long live the peace-loving people of Maryland County, Liberia. James Napla Posofala. Good morning. Thank God so much for the safe arrival of Representative Mona Pena Nyamblo of District Number 9, Mosford County. Politics aside, Mona is an asset into the national societal development. OKFM, the garbage center of Soniwen community, is almost at the door of the community district's main health center. Surely, this situation is disturbing the dwellers of Soniwen community. And let's quickly come now with the last comment. Comments, Flexible General. Good morning, OKFM. The move by the CBL to allow all money exchanges register is a good step because it will curtail the proliferation of sidewalk exchanges. Let me add my voice to Soniwen have centered in calling on the MCC to please remove their data from the center in order to save lives. From a political resident, right, we have tons of comments here, but due to time we cannot read everything. Several marketers at the Nested Door market on the streets have expressed frustration over the deplorable state of the market. Speaking to our reporter on Wednesday, the marketers said the messy condition at the market facility is posing a risks for them and their kids.
My name is Apukamo. I feel it bad making the people that they can't feel it pay for. Because anytime I think I'm pay, you see the water.
So how long you have been in this situation, Mabu?
Well, I think I was 3 months coming now, 2 months now, they won't go there with it.
Well, you are in this situation, you're 2 months, 3 months, and you cannot leave from here. Why?
Papa, I will leave from here. I got to look for small thing my children they go to school. I move for and I go say I won't feed them for me. I'll all them who will feed them for me. No way. So we get big up, then the people can feed it here for any minute. So
one of the marketers there in Nancy B. Do Chogwetown Market there in Single speaking more of this will come on in our 12 May news today. The Liberian National Student Union is calling on the government of Liberia to include a student union and flight on the economic management team. According to links to President, they welcome the president's decision to tackle the current economic crisis that the country is ongoing. Matthias Yenit also added that the government needs to employ more creative economic strategies in resolving the crisis. He said government also needs to concentrate spending priorities locally than on impulse.
The Liberian National Student Union, which is the umbrella organization for all student people of Liberia, would love to recommend to the Liberian government that the Liberian National Student Union and youth movements, which are linked to and fly, be represented on the economic management team since the decision emanating from the team affects constituent members of these national youth and student organizations. The leadership of the Liberian National Student Union wish to take this time to appreciate the President of the People of Liberia, His Excellency Dr. George Manenwia, for his commitment to tackling the current economic paralysis that are hindering the well-being and livelihood of the Liberian people.
Matthias Yenit is the head of Lingsu, the chairman of the Union of Money Exchangers based on the old road. John Pangbe has termed as embarrassment government's failure to set a standard for the change rate in the country.
We have come basically to give a dissenting view on the meeting that was called by the Central Bank of Liberia, a meeting that was intended to regulate the monetary policy within the space of exchanges. But sadly enough, you got to know that we went to the meeting from 8 a.m. up to 3 p.m. just to find out that nothing was being said. This is so embarrassing, so much so that we thought the Central Bank, all of the recommendations and suggestions that we put forward, they were disregarded because the Central Bank had their own way of doing their own thing. Sadly enough, they were unable to give us a specific rate and that will regulate the exchange, the US to the Liberian dollar, on how we'll be able to exchange money. I think this was very, very embarrassing. So this issue of a continuous calling us to meeting and cannot be able to give us a definite stance on why you call us, it has made us down to just deem the Central Bank as not being able to do the job.
John Pangwe there speaking at his point with John Augustine Bill calling this time to summarize the foreign developments.
Kenya's flagship railway project registered losses of 100 million in its first year of operation, according to the Transport Ministry. The China-funded Standard Gauge Railway, which links the coastal city of Mombasa to the capital Nairobi, was funded by a 3 billion loan from China's Exim Bank to be repaid over 15 years. Roses and champagne have been given to passengers on the first commercial flight between Ethiopia and Eritrea in 20 years. Ethiopian Airlines said its bird of peace flew to Eritrea after the end of the state of war. Passengers sang and danced in the aisles during the 60-minute flight. U.S. President Donald Trump has lashed out at haters who condemned his meeting with Russia's president. On Twitter, Mr. Trump said his critics were suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. The broadside came the day after he said he misspoke during the Monday's Helsinki summit when he appeared to side with Vladimir Putin over claims of Kremlin meddling in U.S. elections. The foreign news.
news of foreign developments bring us to the end of today's presentation of news on OKFM 99.5. Many thanks for listening. Before we go, here are the top stories we followed in this presentation of the program. CBL's Governor Destiny Nafanya Petri says the pressure on the local currency is attributed to several factors, saying $15.2 billion is in circulation, while introducing licensing for all foreign bureaus operating in the country. The National Disaster Management Agency says over 28,000 people and 25 communities have been seriously affected from flooding in Liberia. So the wind have centered in central Monrovia to shut down due to huge stockpile of dirt within the center's vicinity. Authorities and residents call for the relocation of garbage center. Mosrado lawmaker Mona Penn Nyambla is back to the country following months of ailment, terms as a second chance of life a return to Liberia. And away from the country, roses and champagne have been given to passengers on the first commercial flight between Ethiopia and Eritrea in 20 years. Once again, thanks for listening. Jamie Debris started controls and handled all of these sounds. Augustine Bill KOLLIE was here with the news, bulletin, and foreign developments. The voice of hope in Plibo, Maryland County, really this presentation, as well as Truth FM in Sunny KOLLIE in Nema County. For more news and information on OKFM, you can log on to www.okfmrr.com. My name is Trokon Freeman. I presented. Thanks for listening.